In need of cards for the guys, today we've got 2 masculine double Dutch gatefold cards for you. We've got a simple 5-minute birthday version and a little bit stepped up thank you version. I think you guys are going to really enjoy these, so let's get started.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to SimplySimpleStamping.com and today's Tuesday tip video. I'm Connie Stewart.
And I'm Christina Stewart.
Today we are going to feature 2 masculine cards. I know masculine cards are tough. We're going to create a masculine double Dutch gatefold card.
Yes.
It's a mouthful. Christina's card, ready? 5 minutes.
Easy peasy.
5 minutes to this card. I'm going to step mine up just a touch, nothing major. But let's face it, when we need those cards, these are great ones to have on hand. So if you guys are ready, we're ready. Let's jump in and get started.
I have got a 5-minute version of this card. It comes together so quick, so easy, and it's just a good, nice masculine birthday card. We always need more of those.
And clean and simple
Yes,
on a masculine birthday
we
card.
love
right?
clean and simple
Yeah,
here. So
yeah.
let's get started. I've got 2 pieces of Blackberry Bliss here. This piece is 4 1/8 by 8 1/2, scored at 3 inches. And
You know, sometimes it's after you film things, you realize you had a measurement that was not quite right. Friends, we're going to make a little change. So your measurement is not 4 1/8 by 8 1/2 for the long card base. It's actually, oh, I hate to do this to you, 4 3/16. Okay, before you panic, just cut it a hair less than a 4 1/4. Because if you leave it at 4 1/4, it's not going to go right. So I wanted to jump in with a quick update with that measurement, and that'll be both for Christina's card and for my card. Sorry about that little error.
And then this piece is 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 2 1/8 on either side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Stampin' Seal and I'm going to just mount my bigger piece inside of this piece in between my 2 score lines. There we go. And then we are going to come in and burnish on either side. And they meet in the middle. That's good. That's what we want. And then, of course, our top piece. Burnish that down. And we have got our card base ready to go. So we can start decorating it right now if we wanted to. But I say let's stamp first and then everything will just come together. So today I am using Scalloped Blooms and Lovely Arrangements as my stamp sets. And then I've got Mossy Meadow and Blackberry Bliss for my ink. So I'm going to come in with these 3 little leaves and I'm just going to stamp this in the bottom left-hand corner. I don't need that stem. So we'll just stamp it right there. And then we can get rid of our scrap paper. And I'm just going to do a little happy birthday, real small on the inside here.
Because you're making this for your friend Jacob.
I am indeed. And I'll have a little bit to write, but not a ton. And then on the front of our card, we want to also stamp Happy Birthday in Blackberry Bliss. So I have just got a little piece of Very Vanilla. This is 2 1/4 by 1 3/4. And I'm just going to stamp my Happy Birthday in Blackberry Bliss on here.
Easy peasy.
Easy cheesy.
Yeah.
And we're done stamping. Now we can pretty much assemble the card. Okay, here we go. We've got some Mossy Meadow. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I'll mount that inside the interior of my card here. Then I will take my sentiment piece and I'll insert that in here. Now I've got some pieces of DSP. This is from the Nature Walk Designer Series paper. And I was able to cut all of these pieces out of 1 6x6. And we've got measurements telling you how to do that in your download. So I'm just going to take all of these pieces here and attach them onto my flaps.
I love Mossy Meadow and Blackberry Bliss.
Such a pretty color combination.
Really is.
I've got another little piece of Blackberry Bliss here. That is 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. I'll mount this piece on there. And then I'll mount my Happy Birthday on there.
Yeah, that really goes together fast.
It really does. So I'm just going to go ahead and add to the top half of this some seal. Because if it goes on the bottom half, it's going to close your whole card. And I don't think we want that. You know what? I'm going to go just a little bit more.
Okay.
Just a little.
No, you're good.
So you're about halfway through there. and then attach it about halfway down that top flap like that. Let me make sure. Yes, no seal. We're good
Always
to go
a good
there.
idea.
Yes. And then I'm going to grab my ribbon. I'm using the Mossy Meadow and Gold trim, and I'm just going to take a piece of this and fold it in half and then fold that into a knot like
okay, this ribbon and this gold with this paper.
Oh, I know.
Is
it's just stunning.
It really is.
Then I will grab my ribbon scissors here, and I'm just going to cut this little end here and cut this little end to match. There we go. We'll spread out those
little tails,
wings, whatever they are.
I like wings.
Yeah, they're wings.
Like wings.
And attach this with a mini glue dot like we always do. Just press it on there, pull it off, and we'll stick it right here in this corner.
That is 5-minute card.
And boom, 5 minutes. You've got a gorgeous birthday card, perfect for the men in your life, and you are all set to go.
I love it.
Thanks.
So for my masculine card, I decided to use the new designer series paper. This is called Gingham Gallery. I love anything.
So cute.
I do. I love anything gingham. And so we're going to use some dyes on ours. So mine's going to take a little bit more than 5 minutes, but we've got some beauty there on the inside. So I've got my 4 1/8 by 8.5 scored at 3 inches. And then I have the 3 1/4 by 8.5 scored at 2/8 of an inch on each side. And it's interesting. I think Christina had the right idea when she did not burnish this piece until she was ready to go. So you can see this one is just going to tuck right inside those score lines. I went a little over. Well, just, you don't see that.
Exactly.
Right? Nobody sees that. And of course, once you have that, it makes it really easy to burnish these over and they meet really nice in the middle. All right, there is my card base. So like Christina, I'm going to go ahead and set the base off to the side and I'm going to do my stamping. So I have a piece of Very Vanilla 3 3/4 by 5, but I'm just going to use the Lovely Arrangements stamp set because this leaf is going to work perfect. Now I'm going to be using dies on mine as well. So you're going to see just a couple things that are a little bit different there. So I'm stamping my leaves in Peaceful Pine. I've got my little scratch paper here as well. So I can just get my leaves right there. And then I'm going to stamp Thank You So Very Much. And I'm going to use the Golden Glow to stamp my thank you. By the way, this font, I love
it.
This font.
It's so cute.
It is. It's got a little Will and Grace feel.
Yes.
And I don't know. I love that font. I always have. I'm going to not drop that.
Yep.
I'm so glad there wasn't ink on there.
Me too.
I think Christina and I have had a lot of coffee today.
Yep.
Maybe you can tell. All right. So that is our thank you so very much. So we are going to adhere that onto a piece of Golden Glow that is 4 by 5 1/4. And we can add this here to the inside of our card. All right, so now we can decorate the front and let's kind of go over some of those measurements again. So this is my larger piece of designer series paper. This one is a 4 by 2 3/4. And I want you to notice on this gingham paper, you have a smaller gingham and a bigger gingham. So I'm going to use the bigger gingham on this part of my card, okay? And then on my greeting, I'm going to use the smaller one. That's this one. So let me grab my other 2 pieces here. These are 1 7/8 by 3 inches. And those will simply go here on my double Dutch gatefold. All right. Now I'm going to take that last piece of designer series paper. I have a piece of Early Espresso 3 1/4 by 2.5. And like I said, this one, I've got the larger one. I'm going to flip it over and use the smaller gingham here. And this one would be the 2 1/4 by 3. You guys remember this, right? We're only going to put adhesive on the top half. So I'm going to close up my card, center it up, and let it sit right there. Let's do some die cutting. Okay, this is going to be fun. I have got a 4 1/4 by 2 3/4 of Peaceful Pine. Real quick, I am going to give this a quick cut. just to kind of make things a little bit easier. I'm going to cut it to 2 3/4. You don't have to do this, but sometimes I just find it's a little bit easier to work with. And I'm going to use the Words and Wishes dies. I love these like kind of little like bubble type dies where you can get the words and you can add the bubble. I'm actually not going to use the bubble, but I'm going to use the thank you. So I want to make it easy, because I like easy. And the reason I wanted to go ahead and cut that paper is because I have a piece of adhesive sheet that's a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I'm going to tell you a little secret. I actually like to cut it a hair less. Okay. I just find it a little bit easier to adhere onto the cardstock if I cut it a little bit smaller. So on the one with the adhesive sheet, I'm going to die cut my thank you. I'll send that off with Christina. But on this remaining piece, there are these little leaf dies that are in the Words and Wishes. I'm going to die cut 2 of each. All right. So I'm going to send Christina off to do that too. Ha. Thank you, Christina.
Of course.
Thank you. Okay. So because we use that adhesive sheet, this is what just makes this go so fast. It makes it super easy that we can just peel that off,
and it's ready to get stuck.
Ready to stick. The other thing about adhesive sheet, it's very forgiving. If you think that's not quite where I want it, if you haven't pressed it down really hard, you have the ability to kind of move it around. So you guys know, I always say, don't press anything down until you're sure. So I'm just going to lightly put the thank, and then I will get my you. Because, sometimes you just never know where. See, I already can tell I want that a little bit higher. It's just how it's going to go. All right.
Perfect.
I think we're good. So I will now give that a press. I'm happy with it. And all of these leaves, we're going to have some fun. It's where are they going to land? That is entirely up to you, because I can already see this one's going to be a little bit different than the first one, the first card like this that I made. So I'm going to add that large leaf. And I think I'll take one of these small ones. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 2 smaller ones up at the top. Right. And, like I said, it really is kind of like, where did your words land that it's going to be just right? Because I'll show you my original and you'll see it's a little bit different, but that's okay. Because on my original, I did a large and a small and a large and a small, but look, my Y was hanging up. It's where it's going to land. All right. We're not stressed over it. But I loved the way Christina did that bow or that knot. Okay. I thought that was really cool. So I'm going to grab some of the Peaceful Pine ribbon. We're going to do that again. I just think it's for men, we don't necessarily want a bow. I get that.
Just a nice manly
knot.
Just a
knot. Right. We want a knot.
Like a sailor.
Sailor knots.
Yeah.
All right. So again, I just folded it over. There. Pull that tight, and we're not even going to bother to really do anything with that loop. We're just going to cut it.
There we go.
That's what we do. All right, friends. So I'm going to spread out the tails on not a knot, or not a bow, but a knot. Grabbing a mini glue dot, pressing the center of that. Adding it right here. Again, I really want those spread out. There we go. So simple. Perfect just for adorable. The guys. I know. And I think it is so important that we are sending cards to the guys, because can I just tell a quick story?
Yes.
My husband sent me a screenshot. He got a handwritten card from his president of the company, not even the boss. Because I was like, wait, who is this? He's like the president of the company.
The boss's boss.
We're going all the way to the top. And what that did for his morale, what it did for just to be appreciated from the president of the company. Listen, you don't have to be a president of the company to say thank you, or, like Christina's card, to say happy birthday. But I want you guys to know that the men appreciate these cards as much as we ladies do. So
absolutely.
Let me bring Christina's card in. If you've got 5 minutes, you can wish someone a happy birthday, right? I mean, so easy. And then if you want to step it up, you want to use some dies, and you can take that and just do a thank you so very much. Friends, listen, this little double Dutch gatefold card It's, you know, those 2 pieces of cardstock, you put those together. The designer series paper, like we said, starts off with a 6x6, and you're just going to cut those down to size. We tell you that so that you know that's all you're going to need in order to create the masculine double Dutch gatefold card. Thank you all so much for joining us. Hey, if you like the video, a thumbs up on YouTube is so appreciated. And if you love crafting videos, you're going to want to click that subscribe button.
And right next to that subscribe button, you'll see a join button. This is for our YouTube memberships where you can get even more Connie content. We have 3 different membership tiers, each with their own perks at their own price point. Check them out.
Thanks again for being here, my friends. Can't wait to stamp with you next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye.